S40 by Navee and not by Volvo. It's a futuristic-looking electric scooter for the city with innovative suspension and promises for great performance. Does it really deliver? Let's inspect. Right, great to meet you. I'm the Tech Mishka. On the channel, as usual, we inspect a lot of cool and interesting tech, and again, on two wheels with a new electric scooter. This one comes from Navee. It's called the S40, and maybe looking at it for the first time, you would think it's one of those off-road oriented setups given the suspension and this rugged style and feeling. The truth is that based on the maximum speed, based on the motor performance, it is more suitable for the city, given also the kind of portability that you can count on. I feel that Navee would pay extra attention on the suspension, a bit stiff in my opinion, but the truth is that I feel that the big news about S40 is the fact that you can easily locate the scooter using Apple's Find My device network. That's pretty cool, one of the few at the moment. Which are the other strengths and of course weaknesses? How does it perform in the long run, and is it the right match to you? Let's find out in this review. The price? Definitely a good sign. I like it when there are more and more affordable electric scooters. This here costs less than the regular Mi scooters and has a bigger brother with better specs and obviously higher price tag, and is called the S60. The naming of these two is a direct reflection of their maximum expected range in ideal conditions, and let me cover the details about the real range in just a moment. Unboxing comes before that. The first time that I've tried a Navee made scooter, it has been the great packing that won me over at the beginning, and then it was the tech inside. This time around, I'm obviously having higher expectations from the scooter itself, because certainly the packaging could use some refinements. If you use the trick of cutting the bottom and lifting the cardboard up, you're going to avoid the heavyweight lifting of these close to 22 kilograms. Not that the scooter is that heavy, it's more about the distribution of the weight. There are a few basic tasks to be completed. Mounting the handlebar, pretty easy, just be careful with the connectors. Then tighten the 4 screws, get rid of all the protective folios and papers, and that's pretty much it. Checking the tire pressure makes good sense. Even though these tires are tubeless and can be used at very low pressure, sticking to the recommendations is going to guarantee their longevity and also guarantee the best possible range per battery cycle. Speaking of which, initial charging is a good idea as well. Navee called their own design cyberpunk. Needless to mention that they've intentionally placed a Cybertruck-looking vehicle nearby. While the similarities are obvious, S40 has nothing to do with Tesla, just for the record. Given the fairly solid setup, the very wide board and the quite intriguing elements of the suspension, I'm very eager to speak of the performance and the details, but let us first cover the technical specs. The scooter is equipped with a 700-watt motor, top speeds depending on the region but not exceeding 32 km per hour. It has a 7.65 amp-hour battery, supports payload of up to 130 kilograms, has dual suspension, dual braking system, turn signals and front and rear lights, supports Apple's Find My network, has of course a smartphone app, and weighs around 22 kilograms. Well, the specs, yeah, they do sound pretty good, but how about this design, the overall look of this electric scooter? I feel that each and every element about the S40 design speaks of good durability. Most of the attention that Navee focus while presenting this device is on the suspension, while they say it's steel spring-based, some kind of technology that is used with trucks, really heavy trucks, over 14 tons. Given the fact that this thing weighs around 22 kilos and I'm with a backpack around 90, maybe this explains why when I'm on top it feels a bit stiff, but slightly better performance when it comes to going over bumps and not so nice roads. So I'm rather happy with the suspension thus far, and if it pays off with really good longevity, I think that's a pretty good trade-off. The motor is also quite an interesting component. It's inside the rear wheel, which makes the distribution of the weight not so nice, but acceleration on the other end is quite entertaining. And one little hack that I've discovered, because here the top speed for most European countries is topped at 25 kilometers per hour, 24 Germany and a few others. If you switch to Imperial settings, it goes to the US mode with the current firmware and it unlocks the 32 km/h maximum speed. It's really a whole lot of fun. However, it literally kills the battery life. I mean, with full battery and mode 3, the sports mode, I was able to ride for about 18 kilometers, and I was quite cautious in the last half of the ride. And I had around 16% battery life left, meaning that it's not such a great achievement. Therefore, if you switch to the dynamic mode, that really changes the scenery. It's true, it's not as fun because the maximum speed is about 20 km/h, but range is going to be really close to what Navee are promising it could reach. So we know about the battery performance, we know that acceleration is quite fun. Let's check about the rest. Acceleration is super pleasant. Having the motor on the rear, traction is better and acceleration benefits as well. It only needs just a few seconds in order to get up to 25 km/h and feels a lot more powerful than my beloved Mi Scooter 4 Pro, although the difference in terms of watts is not that significant. And when we have great acceleration, we do need reliable braking, something I usually very closely inspect with Navee Tex-made scooters, because the S65 has had quite unreliable braking system a couple of years ago. Here, let's say I'm mostly happy. A front drum brake and a rear motor brake. Combined, they're pretty good, but I still believe Xiaomi Scooter series have more reliable braking system because they have the mechanical disc brake on the rear wheel and the motor is inside the front one. Luckily, at no point of time it felt like I'm getting into trouble, which is a good sign. The N40 is equipped with 10-inch tires, tubeless, so riding comfort is solid. The rear mudguard has a bit of a weird mounting, but definitely feels a lot more durable than other models. As for the dual suspension, yeah, I did mention that it lacks adjustment options and feels like something that is supposed to support much heavier setup, meaning that if you weigh more, it's likely going to feel a bit more responsive. Good news is that it seems to be almost indestructible, and maxing it out feels like a mission impossible. This Navee Tex model is equipped with a very wide deck, super comfy and with rubberized pad. It also has a very easy to clean bottom area, looking at you, Mi Scooters, and the folding mechanism which feels rock solid, not a single crack or remark about it. These mechanisms have gone a long way since the early days of electric scooters. It folds and locks, and sure, you can easily make the S40 feel a lot more compact. Just be careful with the weight distribution. In some occasions I feel that it makes sense to carry it folded as opposed to trying to lift it up from the handlebars, especially when you have to go up and down stairs. The handlebar is, by the way, quite interesting. An integrated display here. Weirdly, at this rather generous surface, Navee didn't bring in that many details. Plus, it fails to deliver good top brightness, so on a summer day, digits are not that well visible. And most of the important metrics are only visible inside the smartphone app. Here's the bell, the brake lever, there's a switch for the turn signals, a very nice implementation and very well functioning too. If a turn signal is active, you can also hear audio indication. The throttle lever is very comfortable, this is where the speed switch is positioned as well. Choices between pedestrian mode, dynamic with top speed of 12 miles per hour or 20 kilometers per hour, and the sports mode, which is region dependent in terms of maximum speed. I did mention that S40 has a smart side. You can easily locate your scooter via the Find My, the famous Apple app, and performing the initial binding requires a specific combination. The tag is integrated inside the scooter and apparently using a network that most of us can really trust. The smartphone app is also a nice-to-have thing. Details about your current ride, the basic config options such as cruise control on and off, the front and rear light setup, as well as a bunch of tutorials and, of course, service and diagnostic data, plus firmware updates. So, how about the drawbacks? As already mentioned, I feel that the suspension is a bit too stiff, the weight distribution is also not that optimal, mostly for carrying, the somewhat pale and limited in terms of information display, and if you feel that there's something that I missed in this section, feel free to let me know using the video comments area. Yeah, time for conclusion. Based on the specs, the results from the test, the overall performance, I feel that The S40 is an excellent city-oriented electric scooter which can easily go on some gravel roads and be quite a lot of fun. In a matter of fact, given the durability and the construction of all these components, I feel that it's 2024's underdog. It really has everything that it takes to take on the market leaders at a slightly lower price, which we know is a very good formula. And it's true, thus far it's my probably 4th Navee Tech electric scooter, and I've enjoyed them all, with exception for the V40, which wasn't performing that well, but S40 is a fantastic one. That's at least my opinion. If you agree or disagree or just want to talk about scooters, the comment section below the video is the right place to talk about it. In case you want to buy a new electric scooter, doesn't matter this one or another one, check the video description for more information, because you can find some discounts and such kind of stuff. And thank you very much for watching this episode. It would be great if you can subscribe to the channel, give it a like if you enjoy this video, and you can become a channel member in order to support me in my journey to explore more and cool tech. So that's everything for today. Wish you a fantastic day. You know, make sure to wear protective gear while riding, and I guess I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!